The IMF, the World Bank, and the WTO. What roles do they play on today's world? Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, they all find themselves in troubled waters. With the IMF troubling highly vulnerable finances due to the trade threats going on globally, the World Bank discussing the rising fear or threat that technology poses in the automation in labor, and the WTO in chaos as the judges for the appellate court, the ones responsible for handling trade disputes, is now unable to function as the appointment of new judges has been blocked by the US and other concerns such as having more favorable circumstances for other states. So that places us today. With all those happening last year, how did it make a change and impact to what these organizations work on now? Member states in the IMF contributed to take bold actions such as the catastrophe containment, relief trust, poverty reduction, growth trust, and other measures like doubling of the new arrangements to borrow and a new round of bilateral borrowing arrangements. The World Bank also made new projects, restructuring projects, in order to fit their 4 key areas to respond for help. These are saving lives threatened by the pandemic, protecting the poor and vulnerable, helping save jobs and businesses, working to build a more resilient recovery. Meanwhile, the WTO helping countries to trade more securely with vital food and medical supplies, as well as enhancing new workarounds for transactions has been their concern. In the words of the Deputy Director General of the WTO, one of the greatest risks for the global economy in the aftermath of the pandemic would be a descent into protectionism. International cooperation is essential as we move forward, and the WTO is the ideal forum to resolve any outstanding trade issues stemming from the crisis. That's all nice and well, but what a lot of people usually worry about nowadays is what will be there for us in the future. These 3 IOs have in common on what to say, that everything is going to be very uncertain, whether it be what actions and how much of it is needed to restore and improve the lost human capital. How would projects be made to help the extreme poor and prepare countries for post-COVID economies? And how should governments manage in a flexible way as the looming threat for the pandemic to evolve still lies and will inevitably affect the world merchandise trade? However, how can an ordinary Filipino citizen contribute towards economic growth and development with all the surge of problems and typhoons that has savaged our economy, such as the Typhoon Quinta, Rolly, and Ulysses? What can we do? What we can do, for example, myself, I can help spreading charities and other foundations to support recovery for those that are severed by the typhoons, as well as simply complying to what is needed. Stay at home and be a productive student, as human capital is really an important factor when it comes to an economy and productivity of a country. With all that is said, I thank you for watching and stay safe.